form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals. Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
I've done what feel right. It just feels like
the world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is democracy manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? Take your hand off my penis!
The Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid!
stay cheesy. All right, finally got to smoke bad use a cigarette. And one more sound. All right, and now we are off and rolling. How's it going, my beautiful chickadees, starflies, and my reasons for living? How's it going? What's it called? Today is the 20th of October, which makes today exactly 6 months away from 420, and according to Jimmy Kimmel yesterday, I guess that means today's a holiday. So today is Dog Father's Day, and so we all know how to celebrate it. That's pretty sweet. We need more 420, so I'm all for Dog Father Day. All right, that was for you, Snoop. All right, it's pretty odd, pretty awesome to. I was just talking about this. To be synonymous with something so awesome as weed. I mean, the guy has managed to beat Bob Marley. I mean, in most cases now, you know, you're not going to make a Marley reference. You're going to make a fucking Snoop reference whenever it's about weed. So I just find that really cool. Like, out of all the symbols you could have, and, you know, Snoop Dogg had gone through a few different phases, and the whole point was that he kind of did look like a Doberman Pinscher. He had like that kind of face, like when we see the video, like in the music video, when he turns into that Doberman Pinscher. Now, he just has that kind of long face like that when he was younger. So it was funny that he managed to go from that, and then, you know, Death Row, Dogfather, you know, it was kind of like a Puff Daddy thing, where Puff has like a billion different names and can never stick with one. Whereas Snoop just ended up just being Snoop, and it was just easier to just call him Snoop. But like Kanye had, you know, Kanye, Ye, Yeezy. I mean, same thing with Lil Wayne, Weezy, all that shit. And honestly, I get confused with all that shit. Bob Marley was just Bob Marley. So nowadays, I'm seeing a lot more Snoop posters when I used to see Bob Marley posters. So like back in the day, you would have saw back here, I still have it. It's the old school one you would see at every college dorm. Every 19-year-old had this at their house. It's the white poster or tapestry that is just three different shots of Bob Marley hitting a joint. That is probably one of the most like classic stoner fucking things to own. Like everyone will tell you, probably like lava lamp, blacklight poster, some shit like that. Nah, that was for like 15, 16. You know, now when you turn 20 and shit, you're a real pothead. And depending on your trajectory. So yeah, it's crazy. You've taken over that spot. You are now the weed guy. And I mean, Chong to me will always be Cheech and Chong. That's the weed guy. And then it'll be Snoop and then Marley. Now, the reason why Marley went from first to third is because I found out who Marley really was. And he wasn't as beautiful as we all thought he was. So I'm very proud to say that it's a Snoop Dogg holiday. And I don't recall Snoop Dogg threatening radio stations to play their shit in Jamaica, and that's what Marley did. He had people threaten radio stations. There was a lot of violence involved to get his music across, and then he sang about peace. So I just thought, what a fucking hypocrite. So yeah. So we're gonna be talking about J is for jerk off. Now that works for Jim Jordan here, and just the constant bullshit with him. But it also, J is for Jake Tapper, who Jake Tapper is kind of an odd figure from what I hear about his personal life, but I don't give a fuck because that has nothing to do with your career and your actual art or your vocation. So Jake Tapper has been kind of fucking sassy lately, and it's been really nice to see someone fact-checking and, you know, kind of destroying. And Seth Meyers, now that the late night TV's back, I like that Seth Meyers was starting a thing called You Just Got Tapped. And it's when, Tapper just nails your ass. So we're going to watch a situation like that I guess they missed out on, or maybe they just didn't have time to talk about it. But in this next scene, we're gonna see right here, Jake Tapper really gets one on over. He really gets one over on Jim Jordan. Now, I can't help but notice that Brian Tyler Cohen, I'm a big fan. He's doing this episode on Jim Jordan, and a lot of it you can watch on the Useless Agent Ohio is for Lovers, just not in a good way. That episode has all the same info. So I'm not saying that he ripped off of me. I'm nobody. But what I'm saying is that it's great that we have that parallel thinking, because to me that involves common sense and intelligence. So after what we know about Jim Jordan, how tight-lipped he is, how he has a zipper for a mouth and a lock on that damn zipper, and so Tapper is just going to nail him with this one, and it's really good.
And that is why some members are so upset, because they said he could have done way more to try to stand these conservative attacks down. Remember, some of these conservative media figures and leaders were posting office numbers and encouraging people to go after these members and let them know how they feel. So that is why there is so much emotion right now, and why the feelings are so raw inside the Republican conference, Jake.
If only there was something in his background that would suggest he would stand by and look away when bad things were going on. CNN's Melanie Zanona on Capitol Hill.
Oh. God, can you just feel that shade? Could you feel the shade? It was beautiful. I'll watch it again, but I mean, Jake Tapper just nails it on the head by saying that, because it's a perfect example of what goes on and what I've been saying about Jim Jordan. And I love that he nails it. I say, if only there was some way we could have foreseen the fact that he is a well-known, he's well known for looking the other way while horrible things happen. So again, Jake Tapper seems like he's just had enough of this, and I honestly think that that's where he's at right now. He's been doing CNN for a long time, and it's just getting so goddamn crazy that you can't help but just want to snap.
Members and let them know how they feel. So that is why there is just so much emotion right now and why the feelings are so raw inside the Republican conference, Jake.
If only there was something in his background that would suggest he would stand by and look away when bad things were going on.
I mean, that is beautiful. That is shade perfectly fucking thrown at it. Now, it's also amazing to me the amount of the type of reporting that's being done on people like Jim Jordan. There are actual threats being made towards people that don't want to support him. And I find that just, it's not even hysterical. It's just kind of scary because that is entirely what government has become now. And it's honestly goddamn scary because what we're looking at here is an actual fucking, it's not a threat, but it might as well be taken as one. This is an email that the wife of a congressman got after he apparently said no to Jim Jordan getting the vote. And so it's amazing the mental and verbal gymnastics they will use to bend themselves backwards to somehow blame this on Democrats when they outnumber Democrats. And so we're going to see that later. And I love how this woman checks his ass in real time. But right now, this is an actual letter that was sent to the wife of a congressman. I mean, that's fucking disgusting. And so let's go ahead and, we'll just read it. So,
show with Fox News. Sources tell Hannity that rep, name withheld, is not supporting Jim Jordan for Speaker. Can you please let me know if this is accurate? And if true, Hannity would like to know why, during a war breaking out between Israel and Hamas, the war in Ukraine, the wide open borders, a budget that's unfinished, why would this rep be against Jim Jordan for Speaker? And this is the Washington.
Okay. Now that's my point. That is sick. That is going to the point where you're literally harassing people because that's not journalism. That is harassment. And that's the type of shit that's happening. And so it's pretty goddamn sad to notice that that's exactly what happened here. So again, let's just hear what is written here.
From Hannity sent to a congressperson who elected to remain anonymous. Hello, Stephanie from the Hannity Show with Fox News. Sources tell Hannity that rep, name withheld, is not supporting Jim Jordan for Speaker. Can you please let me know if this is accurate? And if true, Hannity would like to know why, during a war breaking out between Israel and Hamas, the war in Ukraine, the wide open borders, a budget that's unfinished, why would this rep be against Jim Jordan for Speaker? And this is the Washington version of...
That's pathetic. That's not journalism. That's harassment. Now, we all know that Hannity has completely, made it obvious that he's BFFs with the president and that, the president, the douchebag pumpkin man that wants to be a dictator. We all know that he's BFFs with Trump. They talk every day. I mean, there's like actual reports that they talk for hours, like a couple of fucking cheerleaders. And that doesn't surprise me. I can imagine that shit because they're all such kiss asses and just laying on their stomachs, kicking their feet back and playing with the cord. One of them has one of those 90s, remember those see-through phones, you know, the fucking, the landlines, the see-through landlines, you could see the cords and all this shit through it. They'd make this clear plastic. I don't know. If you're not from the 90s, you won't understand it, but we used to have these weird phones like that. And every, like, cool person had to have that. Now, what I want to show you is when I was talking about the mental gymnastics and the verbal gymnastics. Here is going to be a perfect example of that. But watch how the CNN reporter is not going to fall for it. And she actually fact checks him in real time, putting him in such a bad situation that it looks like he just breaks down in the middle of this interview, and it's pretty goddamn funny. So let me put that up. All right, yeah, here we go. So this is how they literally talk to people, like as if we just are too stupid to understand anything.
Democrats knew what they were doing when they put up 208 votes to take him out of the speakership, and that's what created the current situation that we're in. So then we had a conference meeting.
They didn't take him out of the speakership. I mean, you guys are
Sure
the
they
majority.
did.
But you guys are the majority, right?
96% of the votes came from Democrats, though, Brianna. I mean, just factually speaking, there were only 8 Republicans, and there were 208 Democrats. I mean, 208 Democrats.
But sir, who's in the
voted.
Majority?
Well, the Democrats were the majority of that vote, and when we have a very
who's in the
small margin,
majority in the House of Representatives?
the Republicans are in the majority, but the Democrats provided the majority of the votes to take Kevin McCarthy out of the speakership. In fact, they provided 96% of the votes.
Republicans provided the key votes. They're in the majority. They can provide enough votes, obviously, to put a Republican speaker
Brianna,
in
the
place.
Democrats provided 96% of the votes. 208 Democrats voted to remove the Republican Speaker of the House. 8 Republicans voted to remove the Republican Speaker of the House.
It's some interesting verbal gymnastics. I will give you that. But I want to talk about the future here.
What do you mean gymnastics? I'm just talking about the facts. 208 Democrats voted. They were the vast majority of the vote to take Kevin McCarthy out of the speakership.
Well, I'm talking about how it works.
First of all,
that's amazing. That is simply amazing. That's amazing. She had to say that. I'm just talking about how it actually works. See, now what the guy kept doing was talking in circles. So he's trying to say that the Democrats had the majority of the vote. Yeah, sure, but you Republicans have the overall majority. So even if every Democrat had voted against them, that's y'all. It's still your boys. And even they voted against him, all right? And they do whatever they can to blame Democrats because they are already in a situation where they have so much infighting that you have other Republicans saying we look like a bunch of fucking idiots. And Seth Meyers, I would have continued that, but I don't like using other people's content. That was the best way I could find the CNN content that I was looking for. So when Seth explains it, he puts it in a really good analogy, saying it's like trying to explain time or trying to lie and walk your way around time. So the clock is clearly moving, and so the question is, what time is it? Well, it's on the round thing with the sticks on it. Yeah, but what time is it? Well, it depends on where the sticks are. Okay, then where are the sticks right now? Look, man, we're just talking in circles, man. It's on that clock thing. So it's literally just the absence of being able to say what exact time it is right now. And so it reminds me of that old Chicago song. Does anybody really know what time it is? Because, yeah, we're at that point right now. And what's it called? Sorry, I'm an old schooler. I like old school music. And so it just shows the obliteration of the fucking Republican Party and the overall idiocy and just obvious blaming. Now we're gonna watch the Big Fat Pumpkin Man talk about it in a minute, And again, it's just projection because he bitches about how he's not getting a fucking trial, a fair trial because he's not getting a jury. When again, the only person to blame for that is his lawyer. All she had to do was click a box. That's all you have to do is check off one fucking box that says, I request a jury trial. Which, dude, you've lost every jury trial you've jumped in. Why do you want a jury? If anything, they'll just fucking kick your ass out faster. So, he bitches about this stuff. And it's just amazing because I'll listen to Sidney Powell talk about this shit. Meanwhile, if you look to the side, you can see that Rudy Giuliani is clearly withdrawing. I'm an addict. You know, when you're an addict, you're always an addict. So I'm obviously done my recovery, but I can see an addict when I see an addict. He is sweating profusely. He's having trouble opening a bottle of water. His hands are shaky. He's gulping the water down, and this is all within a 5-minute segment. And he spends a full minute of it trying to open the bottle. It's on a closer look if you watch it today on Seth Meyers. And I could not pay attention to Sidney Powell because I know addiction. And that man right there is dying. Like, he is, like, in here. He's fucking dying. He's like, I need a drink so fucking bad. And, like, he must have been looking for his flask and couldn't find it. I don't know. But it's scary, dude. You have a Republican Party that has, you know, Bobo the Clown giving hand jobs at Beetlejuice plays. You have Trump with 92 felonies. You have George Santos with 23 felonies. Hey, speaking of Jordan, 23. So Santos has 23 charges. Sarah Huckabee Sanders just got charged for embezzlement for a $20,000 lectern that she pretended to buy. That was actually worth $6,000. Marjorie Taylor Greene, too easy. Matt Gaetz, a known underage girl abuser and also a known drug user. And then you have Scalise, a self-proclaimed Nazi who has compared himself to David Duke himself. You have Jim Jordan, and he is a assistant pedophile to Jerry Strauss. So this is just off the top of my fucking head, man. Like, this is your party, and you're dying every second you keep on going.
Circumstances around the world. I actually have my eye on Democrats. How long are Democrats going to stand by in the world of identity politics and zero-sum politics and not be part of any solution?
The House still doesn't have a speaker for the first time in American history. This is nearly 2 weeks after Kevin McCarthy was stripped of his leadership. They still can't even pass a resolution condemning the Hamas attacks. It's starting to look like there is not one House Republican who can get 217 votes. Republican Congressman Austin Scott said the chaos, quote, makes us look like a bunch of idiots, unquote. Is he right?
Well, I'll tell you what's right is under the Biden administration, we've seen chaos with inflation and the fact that people
you can't blame that on Biden. You can't blame this on Biden.
Hey, guys. And there you have it. Again, Tapper with the fucking dunk. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need. And I think people are finally stepping up to the fucking bat and actually doing it and saying, you know what? This is fucking ridiculous. So just the argument to say that, well, no, the Democrats had the majority. Yes, they have the majority of this little vote. But you guys still outnumber them. So all you guys had to do was stick together. Y'all couldn't do that. But it's Democrats. Well, why would the Democrats vote for a party that has so many fucking problems? Why would they vote for that? To have more dick pics in the Capitol? To have what? Dick pics in the fucking on the House floor? Marjorie Taylor Greene shouting out every fucking ethnic slur she knows of. I swear to God, if I get one more call from these people, I'm gonna murder you. Fuck off. That's how I deal with telemarketers. So this is the last little thing I'm going to show you. And again, watch how nobody is just going to look at the goddamn lawyer who simply had to check a fucking box. And I love how she keeps looking over at Trump like, oh, God, please don't look at me. Because really, that's all he has to do is just look at her, but he won't do that.
But just as the Attorney General of New York State, Letitia James, and she shouldn't be allowed to be Attorney General. She's defrauded the public with this trial. She said that Mar-a-Lago, she convinced the judge that Mar-a-Lago was worth, in Palm Beach, Florida, the most expensive land in the world, I guess.
What?
And the most expensive houses, definitely in the world. The Mar-a-Lago, the biggest
Palace, the
spectacular place in all of Florida, was worth $18 million when it's worth approximately, could be close to 100 times that amount. And based on that testimony and based on her convincing the judge that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million instead of $1 billion to $1.5 billion, which would sell very easily, which we've already proven, but we'll have people come up and say that and prove it, the most important people, the brokers that make the sales. But based on that, he ruled against me. He ruled fraud. I mean, he said fraud. They are the fraudulent people because they ruled a house that was worth 18. They put down as worth 18 million, and it's worth maybe close to 100 times that amount.
Wow, he is not good with math. So 18 million times 100, dude. I don't even think you can even count that high. Like, I highly doubt you'll know what that number would be. And leave it to a fucking retard to fucking literally lie and inflate the value of, falsely inflate the value of his property while in a fraud case for falsely inflating the value of his property. And you're going to say you're the most expensive property? Dude, Disney World is in Florida, you cocksmoker. Are you fucking stupid? Like, oh, well, that's a dumb question, actually. So this is the world that we live in. And that's why it took so long to come up with this name. Because, like, honestly, there's so much I wanted to write in there. You know, like J is for Jagoff, or... remember when Jordan was a cool name? Do you remember when the last name Jordan meant awesomeness? And now it just means, dear God, I hate my life. So that's where we've gone in the last 25 years. We've gone from shooting our guns in Chicago because yet again we've won another NBA championship with our boys Jordan and Pippen, and Rodman and Kukoc, Longley, Kerr, Horace Grant, fuck everybody, man. But we went from a Jordan that made us shoot outside every day, every year because of happiness, to wanting to shoot ourselves. Thank you so much, Uncle Sam. Thank you. All right, to the rest of y'all, love you guys. Stay safe, stay free, stay yourselves. I'll see you on the other side. Most of all, stay cheesy, my friends.
Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? Take your hand off my penis!
The Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Stay chill.